You how to make an entire clothing brand business for less than $100. So we start with $100. Now, I'm going to show you how to get from zero to launch with this $100. The first thing that you'll need to spend money on is a domain name. It can be anything you want. Go to shopify.com. We're going to include a link so you can get a discount as well. But get a domain that's going to cost you $15 for the first year. Now we're down to $85. The next thing you need is a logo. Now, if you Google make a logo, you'll get tons of websites that offer free logo designs. All you do is you put the name of your company in it and it spits out tons of designs. Screenshot one, take a picture of it, or download it if they allow you to for free. Now you have your logo, now you have your domain. The next thing you need is designs. This may be the only thing that you have to spend money on, or it may not. I suggest going to Fiverr, and we'll put a link below here to find someone to make designs for you. Now, if that's too expensive and you have $85 left, again, you can go to a website called Printful, which will also have a link below, and you can import your logo from the one you have, and it will make a shirt with your logo on it. If you want a design and not just a logo, then you can Google free t-shirt designs and you'll get tons of ideas that you can, again, download, you can screenshot, whatever you want. Now you go back to Printful and you upload that image and it puts it on a t-shirt front and back, and it gives you images of models with your t-shirt or whatever it is, a hat, a bag on it. So you've gotten a logo, you've gotten a website, and you've gotten designs for only $15 so far. So I think we're doing really well. The next thing that you'll need is to get those designs on a website to sell. So we're going to go back to Shopify and get their 90-day free trial to a website. And what you're going to do is you're going to just upload those designs to the website, and it automatically puts them on an e-commerce shop that you can sell to the people. Go to the payment section on Shopify and you can activate PayPal. You can put your bank information, however you want to get paid. Now, you've spent $15 and you have a logo, a design, a website, and an e-commerce store. So I think I might change this video title to how to make a website and a clothing design store for $15. So if you're looking to get a clothing brand started and you don't want to spend a ton of money and you want to test the waters, I highly suggest this method just to get it out there and get some feedback from people. Now, when you're ready to hit it full force and have social media presence and get leads and clients and all this traffic and sales, then I suggest you go to the Let's Grow podcast website where we show you how exactly to do just this, but in a professional way. And that's exactly how you start a clothing business for not $100, but $15. So if you want to know more about how to get clients to your company now that you have a business, go to letsgrowpodcast.com, sign up for our marketing courses, and we'll show you exactly how. This is Fabian from
All right, Fabian and Mike, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the episode of Creative Maestro. And number one, I just have to say, amazing video marketing video, right? Not only that, you've simplified the process of becoming a digital entrepreneur in 3 minutes. That's brilliant.
Yeah, you know, so some people got mad at me, just people in different industries, because I posted that, because it kind of gives people the quickest way from A to Z without having to include any middlemen and things like that. For any beginner, it's great.
Yeah, like it's honestly just a genius idea. Like, you know, people had to spend so much time thinking about actually doing something instead of just doing it. So if we can deliver content as quickly as possible and we can give them the ability to just make it, then we cut out all the legwork and allow them to make something really quickly.
Absolutely. It, again, like you said, A to Z, and it's the most efficient way. And like you said, it's going to get people out of their comfort zone, because I know for me, I always struggle with being a perfectionist, because if it's not the way I want to do it, then I don't want to do it. But you're not going to come out the gate being, you know, at Kobe's level, RIP Kobe, you know, it's just not going to happen. You got to work your way up to that. He had his air balls, right? It happens.
Yeah. And the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is today, there are so many types of software and templates out there online that you can essentially make yourself into a team without having any special skills, just knowing where to find this. And this is one of the things that we do very well is we know this is our job. We know everything out there. So if we can provide that to people on a silver platter and say, here is a tool A, tool B, tool C, go make your product, go make your brand.
100%. It's like, you know, you have to be kind of be Batman, right? You have to be like, all right, well, I have this tool, I have this tool, I have this tool. Like, now let's go fight crime and like actually get into the weeds of it, because it gets, you know, it's easy to start, right? But then you start getting into the more meticulous type of things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And those meticulous things are the exact things that slow you up. It's the minutia. You just gotta remove it from your mind and just go for it. You got to take action. It's kind of like going live on IG. It brought a lot of people out of their comfort zone, and now they're getting their return on investment with followers.
Yeah, one big thing I would caution people not to do is, if they're starting a business, well, first of all, it stops a lot of people from getting into businesses. That's the amount of money that it costs, right? But if someone, let's say, has a few $1,000s or they have a few hundred, whatever their budget is, you pour all that into creating your brand, you have zero left over to market those products to the people, and then you're stuck with all that overhead. This is what happens to a lot of mom and pop shop restaurants. Let's say they're a great cook, they have a great recipe, they all combine their money, let's say the family gets involved, they open a restaurant, now they have a mortgage or like a loan, they have a debt from all the products that they bought, the kitchen, the food, and they don't have a way to market it. And they go under, sadly, because they don't have any money left over to market.
You know, and that's definitely, you know, the MVP, right? You need a minimal viable product coming from like the startup and the tech world. You need something where you have the very basic core functionality. Will people buy this?
Right.
And then you can then take the scientific method and then deduce, well, what features, what things do I need? What things do I want? Because like, why create and spend a lot of money for something that people don't want? You want to find your market first and then move forward, because a lot of people get stuck in design and then they spend all their money in design for a product no one wants.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we teach a lot is test the waters as cheaply as you can while still having a good looking product, because you don't want to hit the market with a bad product that's cheap. You can have a good looking product that's low barrier to entry and say, hey, if it works, now let's pour more money into it. One thing I always say is, no matter how good marketers we think we are, at the end of the day, we don't know what anyone wants to buy until we test. And we have analytics, and then you figure out what your customers want.
Because the market will tell you. The market will tell you if people want it or if they don't. And the thing that people get stuck on is how emotionally invested they get into it.
Right.
Business, you can't get emotionally invested. You have to just be logical and be like, well, this may not work. Let's try something else. And it's that quick pivot. It's that quick turnaround, which what makes successful entrepreneurs over non-successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we're kind of keep going on, but I want to say this one thing very quickly, because it's very important, especially if you're out there, you're thinking about starting a brand, is have a filter. And what I mean by that is have someone who you trust, who knows what they're talking about, look over your work and be a filter. Perfect example. I have crazy ideas every day I wake up. And the problem with what I do is I have the ability to make that into a very quick product within an hour or 2 or 3 or 4. So the other day I woke up and I had an idea about something. I woke up at 7 in the morning. I text him at 10:30, 3.5 hours of me working on this product. I said, hey, I have a new product. I have a new thing. It came out. I spent the last 3.5 hours making it. I made the website. I made everything. And he looks at it and he goes, what?
Hell is good. And I'm just like, dude, like, great. This looks wonderful. I'm very proud of you. But like, why? Why would someone even want this? How do we even like market this? And then we had to like restructure to see how we could like tool it out and if it could work.
So essentially all it took was him giving me some kind of like objective discourse, and I looked at the product, and then it hit me how stupid it was. But I had that filter. So anyway, just I say all that to say that if you're going to start a product or a business, whatever you're offering, have a filter, have someone look over it, give you who's very honest with you, not a yes man, or not someone who's a hater, because haters will always tell you that there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Get someone who's
a realist, someone that's going to be like honest, that knows the market, that knows the ability to say, well, this is good and this is not so good, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a necessity. I mean, that's why I feel like people get mentors for that reason, so they can show them exactly what to do.
Yeah, and that's actually why we created Discord on our Let's Grow Podcast.com, right? It's something where so you can communicate and say, hey guys, I have this idea. What do you group of marketers think? Because if the group can tell you, yo, that's great, or hey, you know, we may want to retool this to launch it in a different way, then having that that sounding board is so valuable.
Yeah, and not only that, but this is something that I wish the Discord, if people don't know out there, it's like it's sort of like a WhatsApp, similar to that, except there's groups that are specific, like a Reddit messaging group, I guess I could say. And in ours, we talk about just specifically everything under the sun, but we tailor to digital marketing and business marketing. And the reason why I think it's very beneficial is because we can't tell you between us two, and I'm sure anyone listening out there, when you're learning something new, how many mistakes you make, how much wasted time you go through. And if I had someone, like if I had a Discord when I started, and somebody could just say, Fabian, that's not a good idea. I already tried that, and I wasted 2 months of my life trying it out. That would immediately put me light years ahead of where I was. So it's a great tool to utilize where everyone in there is has the same mindset to help have people say exactly that, either it be a filter or give you like a pitfall to not fall into.
Very cool. And how do you guys feel about mastermind groups?
I love them, and that's ultimately the idea behind Discord, right? And that's why it's so valuable, because it's a movement together to make something profitable. It takes a community to make the person. It takes the individual going to the community to then say, hey, what do you think? How can I grow this? Because what helps one in most cases helps the other, right? We live right now in a very individualistic forward society. Well, you know, there are cultures that are very collectivistic, but the collectivistic cultures normally build and grow and can nurture, you know, people to really go on and do great things. So I'm a very big advocate for it.
Yeah, and one thing about masterminds, and I don't know if you have one, I have no idea. So if I'm gonna say something good to the people listening, I didn't do this on purpose, but if you have one, I would make it expensive. And here's why: is people value things that are expensive. Mm-hmm. If anyone can get it in a mastermind group, let's say you, right, to learn how to do what you do, and you charge, let's say, for this mastermind group that's going to unlock all the mysteries of your mind that you've come across all these years of trial and error. If you make that too cheap, people won't value it. Number two is I believe that everyone should invest in yourself, because that is the most profitable investment you can make. It pays back the rest of your life. So if you're not willing to invest money into a mastermind group to learn from the person who you admire, then you have no business being in the type of industry until you're willing to make that sacrifice and that change. Quickly, perfect example, the guy who mentored me, he used to pay $50,000 a year to his mentor to hang out with him 4 times a year. Okay. Wow. And when I got into this business, I didn't know anything. I said, are you crazy? You're paying him $50 to hang out with him 4 times? And he goes, you don't understand, Fabian. He goes, I could invest 6 months of my time and $500,000 into a product or a sales funnel or something. And he could look at that and say, don't do this, stop that now. And he'll save me that time and effort. Then it started clicking. Okay, I understand why you have mentors. And imagine if he let anyone get a piece of his time, he wouldn't have enough time to train the people who really value him.
And it's about the quantum leap. It's about taking that, not just a small step, it's taking that massive step that projects you. Because look, you can do 1% every day, right? And you'll grow, right? Totally. But if you can take that 10%, you're taking that an exponential move forward, and those exponential moves forward may be worth $50,000, maybe worth $100,000. But it's willing to invest in yourself, because again, you as an asset will grow, but you as an asset will also have compound interest, which is something that we are really big fans of.
Oh, I absolutely love compound interest. I was first taught the concept by MJ DeMarco, the Millionaire Fastlane.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, and because it speaks true not just within business, which is huge, but within even mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Like even if you have a 10% mindset, you're gonna hit that 10% and be done. But if you have like at least a 50 to 60% mindset, you're gonna be able to outpace people, right? You're going to be going further. And if you're blessed to have 100% mindset, like Elon Musk, you're Iron Man, right?
Absolutely. And it kind of reminds me of a concept I learned from Jason Capital, got to shout him out. And it was the fact that the average person has around 75,000 thoughts. The high performers, the most successful people, get that down to between 15,000 and 20,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing about going back to what were we talking about? We were talking about compound interest, is that I believe that any complicated subject, like for instance, if someone out there listening to and they just heard what we said, compound interest, they're like, what? So it sounds complicated, but I always like to make sure that people are able to understand what that means. And the way I break down compound interest is, you as a human being, you have 24 hours in a day and 2 hands. You can only do so much every single day. What does a business do? A business has one person at the top and they have many workers below them. So collectively, they build profit for the person at the top. What compound interest does is very similar to what a business does, is you put your money out there to start working for you. So while you're working on your job, your money is building your business. And that's what compound interest is. It's building upon building upon building. So you get an exponential result back. So by the time you're ready to remove that or reinvest it or do whatever, your money builds on top of money. You're creating a bunch of little dollar workers.
That's amazing. What would be the first thing to do? I mean, besides listening to you guys' amazing podcast, to be able to do something like that?
I start small. That's the biggest thing.
Small, very, very small. Look at your local community. What need can you fulfill? You have to figure out the value that you could provide to a community first, and then what the market is, and then produce a product. Because if you're not producing any value for people, what's your use in the marketplace? But if you can provide value, if you can give consulting, if you can help them even in their current businesses, if you can bring them customers, woof, the value for bringing someone customers, people will pay. And
True.
That business will never go out of business, because everybody will always have a business and need to bring new people into their system. So how do you start?
Well, with marketing, yes, absolutely. If we're talking about compound interest, then I would say pick a small amount that's not going to overburden you. Let's just even say $500. If it takes you a few months to build it up, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, right? You're in this for the long haul. One of the biggest problems, and I've lost a lot of money when I first started investing because I did what most people do. You learn the stock market a little bit, you read a few books, and you think you're a genius. And you start talking about stocks, and all you do is talk about stocks and how you're going to make money. And one thing is, people will always talk about their wins. They will never talk to you about their losses. It's a sore spot. Nobody wants to look like they're better than the best, right? So if you're going to be, if you're looking to get into anything with finance or compound interest, start small, invest it, see how it goes for you. Don't overburden yourself. It's very similar to marketing as well. Don't start with a product that's too high, right? If you're starting a clothing brand, you're not going to start with luxury items, right? You want to start with something true, with something small that people can buy and not get mad if, let's say, it ends up badly. A perfect example, if I lose $5 on the ground, yeah, I'll be a little bit inconvenienced, but it won't be that big a detriment. However, if I lose $100 on the ground, you better believe I'll be retracing my steps the entire day trying to find that. It's very similar to marketing and building any kind of finance.
It's true. It's really macro versus micro thinking. And unfortunately, one of the things that we all have to reprogram from ourselves because of society is you got to stop thinking about life like a consumer. Think about it like a creator, an entrepreneur, someone who produces something, like you said, produces value for the market. You can't just be a customer.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about this the other day about Ray Kroc.
Right.
So Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's, one day he was giving a speech. McDonald's is McDonald's. And someone who didn't know him, he says, someone asked him, what business are you in? He goes, I'm in the business of real estate. And someone in the crowd spoke up and said, what are you talking about? You're in the business of hamburgers. He goes, no. That's my job. My business is real estate. And a lot of people don't know that McDonald's, holds the most amount of real estate in the world after the Catholic Church.
And if you didn't know exactly how they run their real estate empire, it's ultimately like this. They buy the land that then every McDonald's franchisee basically then leases it out from the McDonald's corporation. So every month they're guaranteed that infusion of cash on top of the franchising fee, on top of the product cost fees, and they're just raking in money.
Yeah, so if you sell 0 hamburgers in 1 month, you still pay the rent and they're still making money, because if you leave, if you destroy McDonald's, I don't know how that's even possible. However,
there's ways to destroy McDonald's.
They're still making the rent. They'll bring someone in. McDonald's, I believe, has about a 2-year wait list to open one of the franchises.
It's like $1 million liquid.
$1 million just to open one right now.
Yeah, liquid.
Wow.
Yeah.
You open a McDonald's, 1 or 2, you're good. Now, for someone who wants to get into franchising, I would suggest something on the lower end, like a Subway.
Right.
I believe a Subway is only about 60,000 or so to get in.
And they actually, yes.
They are becoming oversaturated.
They are the most franchised business actually ever. So there's more Subways than any other franchise out there. Wow. Personally, I think Taco Bell's a better idea for a franchise, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
if you're not that liqued, it's a good starting point.
Yeah. Also, I just like the food sometimes. Don't tell my mom.
4 a.m. right?
Hey, at the late night meal, man, everybody needs that, right?
Everyone needs that. Taco Bell's always open. They know their demographics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And could you tell everyone how important demographics are? I feel like people their brain kind of switches off when they hear all these marketing terms like, oh, demographics, figure out your niche, your niche, whatever. Like, I'm fatigued about hearing about it. But could you please break down how important and pivotal it is? Because it could be like a mentor telling you're wasting your time. So
people come up to us with ideas every day. I have this idea or this product and it is brilliant. And the first thing we go is like, cool, yeah, we want to hear more about it. And then we ask them, because as experts, you have to kind of like ask, like, hey, what are you doing, right? Like, who's this meant for? And the answer that they always give us is everybody. This product is for everybody. And Fabian and I sit there and like we'll look at each other and
we know it's coming,
and we'll just laugh like internally because we don't want to be rude.
Not making fun of them because as I was saying, they're not marketers.
It's everybody's answer. It's everybody's answer because to their justification, like yes, this product in most cases will be great for everybody, but you need to be very hyper specific about the branding, the needs. To serve value to the specific demographic that you really need to cater towards. I may create a product for 35 to 55-year-old men. I'm not going to take that same branding and position and go around to and deliver that same message and product to a 15 to 26-year-old girl. It's not the same market. They think differently. So the messages have to be completely different, but the product can potentially be the same. So you do have to be very specific, hyper specific in most cases, and all that information is available on Google.
Yeah. When it comes to analytics and targeting and stuff, the reason why people hear it so much is because it works, right? One of the terms you hear most often overused is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. I mean, yeah, it is trite and cliche, but there's a reason why everyone says it, all right? Because it works. So with targeting, again, we're not perfect. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know who's going to buy our stuff or who's going to like it. A lot of times, we think that we know exactly who's going to like or click on an ad, and it's the complete opposite. So we don't know. So analytics and data is where you find out who actually likes what you have, right? If you're trying to push your product down their throats and they're not receptive of it, there's no reason to keep going with that. Just try a different product or try a different market. And you may not like analytics and data. I know I don't, but it's one of the backbones of figuring out whether my business is going to succeed. So one thing that we do for businesses is like market research and business plans, right?
Because it would be so irresponsible to like go and say, yeah, we can bring you customers, or hey, this is what you should be doing. If you don't know, if you haven't done the competitive research, if you haven't done the market analysis, if you haven't done the keyword research, if you haven't looked at the specific trends, any news that's happening on those things, it'd be irresponsible So you have to have, one, integrity, but then two, you have to just be educated and know what you're actually going to be doing. Because if not, you're just throwing something against the wall and hoping it sticks, and that's not going to work. So being hyper specific based off data and research allow you to make, I don't want to say emotionless actions, but it allows you to take emotion out and just really do well with straight logic and data.
Yeah, another way to look at that is from the marketing side. If you're out there listening to this and you're like, I want to hire some marketers to help me with my product, again, this goes back to the whole, you'd have to have a filter, right? We don't pick up anyone's contract as a client until we do market research and we do a business plan. Number one is because we have integrity. So and we have clients offer us a lot of money to, can you please just help me? Like, I know you guys are good. We say, wait, we want to see if this is actually going to be beneficial to you or not. So spend a little money up front to save yourself a lot of money on the back end. So if you're looking for a marketing company or any kind of marketers and they offer you the world and they tell you they're going to get you tons of clients, use that as a cautionary tale. Trust your gut and saying, why are they trying to sell me the world? When in reality, what they should be doing is, oh, okay, let's do our homework first. Just like you're not going to get a boyfriend before you meet them. You're going to go on a few dates with them, see if they fit. And then if it's, if it makes sense for both of you, move forward. So yeah, just listen to your gut.
You couldn't have said it better. It's about longevity. Like at the end of the day, yeah, I can make a quick, I can make some quick money by accepting every client that comes through the door, but I'm not interested in the quick money. I'm interested in compound interest, right? I'm interested in us building a relationship and really growing a business out together. But if there's no vision, there's no understanding, there's no transparency, we're not going to be in business together for a long time. And how does that really help me? It's about helping you, but let me help you do that. So that's why most people need that, or everybody really needs that info in the beginning, so then they can scale properly. You see a bunch of gurus saying, I'll take you from here to here, and in no time you'll be a billionaire by the time you're 27. And it's like, there's a gut feeling there that says that's wrong, because it's not.
Just pay me $5,000 and I'll show you how to do it.
Right? And I'll be the first one to say I have blown money on that, right? But it's the cautionary tale that, like, you have to say something, because, like, getting screwed does not feel good. It doesn't feel good, but, like, it also, I could have taken that money, put it towards something, and due to compound interest, it would be worth dramatically worth more money than it is just sitting in someone else's bank account. Hopefully they're getting compound interest on it though, right? Like, that's at least I hope, right? So, it is that cautionary tale. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, people don't, let's say, read the warning signs. They're doing the California stop signs. They're just not paying attention.
Yeah, 100%. It's again, it's just, you have a dream and that's great, but make sure you take steps to that dream, not just try to run and sprint all the way down to the finish line, because it's not going to work. You're not going to get there. You're going to trip. You're going to fall over. It's like anything in life. One of the biggest things that people always say, especially older people, right? And if everyone who's old says the same things, then it's probably right. And they say, what's the secret to, old age, or what's the secret to, they say, do everything in moderation, right? Get rich quick scheme, those schemes, they don't work. All those businesses that are going to get you quick in 30 days from rags to riches, it's not going to work. It may work for 1%, and that's the story they're telling. But for 99% of people, it just doesn't work like that. You got to make mistakes. Just take your time and let it happen and learn and enjoy from it. Enjoy the experience.
To Fabian's point, it's building blocks, right? It's building a foundation, building different steps, building a funnel, building some way to receive customers, some way to service those customers, finding a way to fulfill your services and doing exactly what you said, so then they stay as customers, so then you can provide them more value in the future. And if you really don't provide that, you have a get rich quick scheme that doesn't create longevity. There's no business there. So, it's about systemizing and creating a foundation first to then really start running and start growing.
1,000%. And that's why I admire the most about people like yourselves who are sharing this wisdom, because this this could be like a decade of turmoil, but you have the, the cure right here, which is great.
Yeah, I'm always for giving people stuff, hard to understand terms and making it simple for them. And just, again, everything in life is pretty simple. You take your time, you do your due diligence, you do your homework, you're going to be fine. It's when you throw caution to the wind, or you hear someone, oh, my friend's making a ton of money, you need to get in this right now, or else it's going to be, one of those scarcity mindsets. It's gone here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
Only 5 slots left. Like the scarcity mindset, I get it. We're marketers. Scarcity meaning like if you don't get it today, it's going to be gone tomorrow. This is why companies release only 10 of these, right? Oh, only 5 left. In the shoe game, my one of my best friends, he's big in the shoe game, and he gets stuff. They release 20 pairs of the new Nike SBs or etc. And now you buy them for $300, they're immediately worth $1,200 because no one can get them.
Wow.
So it works in marketing, absolutely. Yeah, that game is crazy right now.
That's pretty dope.
Jordan released, or ever since they released that thing about the Bulls, the documentary.
Yeah.
His shoes it's skyrocketing. It's
blown
insane.
up, right?
Well, that's fantastic. I'm actually a stockholder in Nike. That's wonderful.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Give them another shout out then, right?
Nike is one company that company knows marketing.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many people they have on their marketing team. It's got to be a few hundred.
Just for it's maybe thousands, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. We did some of our research. We were just curious, like, how are they doing on SEO? How are they doing on just older digital marketing? And we looked deep into it, and they kill it. Like kill it. I know that they hire the best marketers they can find that are absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you saw this, they took themselves off of Amazon. Right? You saw that? Yeah. They took themselves
did not. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which is a really big shift for them because they realize that what they're looking for is longevity. And I'm not here to say that Amazon isn't a great way to make money. It is, right? It is. But customer data is not acquired through Amazon, and it's hard to build a brand through that. So, we have people come to us and say, hey, I want to get on Amazon. And I'm just like, okay, well, that can be good for you. But if you want to create a long-term business that is, you can then support yourself and your family and, have compound gain on your investment, I would look into creating an online store if it's a product-based business, or, servicing, your customers in different ways outside of someone else's platform. Because that's something that we have to talk about almost every day. Because if I'm only on this one platform, what happens if they change a portion in their algorithm? My whole business is gone.
Yeah, and this is so another angle or another take on what he said was very similar. It's if you have one source of income and that source goes away, what are you going to do? If you're selling stuff to people but you don't know who those people are, again, it goes back to talking about analytics and demographics. How do you know who your customer is? Now, what Airbnb, Amazon, Turo, Uber, all these companies that act as an intermediary between the product, the person who makes the product, and the ultimate and the customer, is that they don't give you those customers. They're using you almost as an affiliate. They're giving you a percentage, obviously your sale, but they're taking their customer data and they're building out their massive warehouse of analytics and data and demographics with a team. And then figuring out, well, now I know exactly how I can sell to these people because now I know what they're buying, what time they're buying, what kind of stuff. Is it cyclical? Is it seasonal? Like they're getting all the data, and they have a team of people doing the analytics in the back end to say, hey, you know what? Mike just sold 10,000 pairs of, let's say, diapers to women, and guess who bought the most diapers? Perfect. He doesn't know any of this. But I'm like, hey, Mike, thank you for all that data. I'm going to turn that into money. And if you stop selling with me, or guess what? If I make my own product, my own diaper, I'm going to change the algorithm so you rank low and I rank number 1 because I have all your data.
Yeah. It's.
That's ruthless. Okay, Mr. Bezos, I see you. Okay, yeah. I mean, that is a now it makes it even more interesting why they got into the cloud sharing game. Oh, that's very clever.
Guess what Google also has?
Cloud sharing.
Yeah.
Guess who they're trying to compete against. Now, the thing with Google, and I know we're kind of going all over the place here, but just to touch on very briefly, SEO.
Mhm.
SEO,
please, yeah.
SEO. If people don't know, it's search engine optimization.
Presenting yourself the best way online, so any search engine can find you and you're discoverable to them in the easiest way, so they boost your content up.
It's like going on a group date and trying to wear the best clothes, so the person picks you out of everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
But so what I was going to say is a lot of people, again, this is kind of a cautionary tale to people out there looking for, let's say, if a product is doing fairly well, but you want to create some SEO for your company, right? One of the biggest lies, not lies, but just misrepresentations of what SEO is that people can say, hey, my company can take you from, again, 0 to 100 in 2 months, getting a bunch of sales. Well, that's not true. And the reason is because Google owns the internet, right? They own every time you search, Google owns that. They know exactly
98% of all search queries are done on Google.
Wow.
And Google has 1,700 PhDs in computer science and math that are constantly changing their algorithm. 1,700. So if someone's going to tell you that they can hack the system, imagine, now that you know how many people they have working for them, it sounds retarded. You're going to overtake 1,700 PhD computer scientists and algorithm makers and mathematicians and data scientists.
You're going to school them?
Yeah. So with SEO, it's a long-term play again. They want to see that you're making quality content, that you're giving stuff that people want to actually read, and they know what you're doing. They know what people try to do. So just, again, it's a long-term game. It's not a get-rich 3-month quick scheme.
Yeah, you got to learn to stay away from those because there are a plenty.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So then, guys, so when you first made the Let's Fucking Grow podcast, by the way, love the name, love the logo. What was the main goal that you wanted to achieve?
So when we were talking about this and when we were developing the brand and the logo and stuff, we just wanted to make relatable content and like content where people will get high amounts of value for, just give it away. Right? We don't think that you should have to pay massive amounts of money to be able to like see what other people are, how people are making money. Right? We want to give people the ability to change their lives. We want people to fucking grow, man. Like we want people to be able to tell their story and say how, hey, this is how I grew. This is how I benefited. These are my tips and my tricks so you can win. Because at the end of the day, it's about the collectivistic mindset. This is how we can help you as a community grow and win.
Yeah, the way I look at it is we're human beings, right? No matter where you're born.
Speak for yourself.
No matter what color your skin is or what your religion is or where you grew up, we're just bags of water and bacteria at the end of the day. So this is my actual worldview, right? The way that you pass on things to help the next generation is by your DNA, by stories, by actually raising people to be better people than you were. How can you do that if you don't have good information for yourself that you can then pass on to other people? So let's just say, for instance, that you're stressed out with life, right? You don't have the answers how to overcome your stress. You have a kid. You raise that kid with all that stress. That kid is then going to be living with that stress for the rest of his time. Let's say there's a person with a product and they listen to us and we're able to help them relieve that stress, find the answers, and then have a more calm life when they're interacting with their children. Guess what? We've now just helped you influence the next generation of people, which is all human beings are. We're just trying to prolongate the survival of our species and bring them up to a higher level. But if you never hear discourse between people who have different ideas and go at it with like decor and they're not screaming at each other, if you don't have those people there to teach you those things, then you're never going to learn them on your own. Because again, when it comes to places like YouTube, if you have an algorithm and let's say you spend all your time looking at, let's just to pull something out of the water, basket weaving, because it's not political and no one can get mad about it, right?
I'm a fan of underwater basket weaving.
And that's all I like. Cool. YouTube knows, hey, this guy likes basket weaving. So the more time that I spend on YouTube, the more money YouTube makes because they could sell me more ads. So it sticks me in a rut where I only see basket weaving, and I'm never able to open my surroundings and learn about different things, which would have made me a better person.
Right.
That's what we aim to do, basically, is just help people become a more well-rounded person so that they go out into the world, they have facts, they have data, because emotion can lead you astray many times. And that's one thing that people deal with in relationships and personal life. Jealousy comes from just too much emotion, things like that. So if you're able to use more data to back up what you think, or if you get emotional when you stop and think, why am I thinking this way? Let me use logic and data to see if what I'm thinking is correct, then you can become a better person. That's why we started Let's Grow podcast.
That's awesome. That's a facts only lifestyle. I love that.
Yeah. Now, so some of my ex-girlfriends would say that they don't like that logic only, facts only, emotionless thing. But for business and things like that, it's kind of what you need.
It works.
It's necessary. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
And then what are the things that really make a brand memorable in your opinion, Fabian and Mike?
For me, so I've been in branding for close to 12 years now. You know, I was in a graphic design class and I loved it. And I just started working for, you know, local businesses, and then I started working for larger businesses, which is really cool. What makes for a good brand is brand experience. It's how a customer experiences that brand through a type of customer journey, so they are able to feel attached, connected, felt, listened to, understood throughout the whole experience. So then afterwards they feel connected to the brand, the product, the founders even, right? And it's about that transparency, it's about that honesty, it's about that connection, that synergy, that community that builds a good experience.
Absolutely. As you said, you invested in Nike. I'm sure you didn't do that just because it wasn't it was just a random thing to do. Is you probably used the brand, liked the quality, believed in it, and then you invested your money in it. And that's exactly what a brand should do. People should want to spend money on a brand that they believe in. If you have people knocking on your door trying to hand you money, then you know you're doing a good job. If you're trying to pry money out of people's hands to buy your product, then you probably shouldn't be selling that product in the first place. That's what branding should do. You should feel good about when you have that brand on. If it's a service, if it's a clothing item, if it's makeup, whatever it is, it should make you feel good at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's like business ethics 101. That's exactly how business should be conducted, in my opinion, personally. So I agree 1000%, gentlemen. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And did you guys have anything else you wanted to share with everyone? Because you guys have given us a ton of value right here. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I know we're at 40-something minutes, so I don't want to bore the people.
No.
But yeah, man, I mean, really happy to be here. Take your questions. I know, you and I have followed each other on social media for quite a while now. I appreciate what you do. You're always very enthusiastic. You've always given me good moral support. So for anyone out there, him and I have been following each other on social media, and I can tell you that whenever I do something or there's a change in life or anything, he's always one of the first ones to say, "Hey, man, I see that. Good job. Congratulations." And that's how you know that you're listening to someone good, and obviously, I started watching your stuff on your social media because of that very reason. So if you've been watching Josh's podcast, coming from me, you're doing a great job. He knows what he's talking about, and he's very heartfelt when he does it. So he does it from a good place. It's not just trying to do it from a shady place. So that's good. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you saying that, Fabian. Thank you. And likewise, I mean, I've definitely learned a lot from you just from observing you, and just you being relentless in how you put out your content is very authentic. It's very you. And I appreciate that, because there's not a lot of authentic people on social media, as we all know it as being in the marketing space.
Yeah, that's something we could talk about next time. If there's a next time, is self-censorship in social media.
Nice.
Huge. That's huge. And if you don't, I don't want to get into it now, but just Google self-censorship in social media if you're out there. It'll be a primer for our next hopeful podcast where we talk about this.
Yeah, and I have one small piece, just you got to sprinkle in everywhere. Just be nice to each other. Just be honest, be kind, be warm, right? It's so important. And maybe people say stuff about that, but it's about just being an overall good person. Just do the right thing.
Yeah, one thing that I've and I'll end it with this gem, but this is probably one of the most important things that you can hear if you're out there listening. So listen up, put down your phone, put down whatever you're doing. I've traveled all around the world. I've lived in India, and I backpacked for 5 years around everywhere that you can think of. And one thing I've learned about humanity is that we're all exactly the same. No matter if you're in a gang or you're a terrorist or, you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever, if you're in a cult, at the end of the day, everyone goes home to eat because you have to eat. Everyone gets tired. And when you go home, you're thinking about your family. You're thinking about the health of your parents and your grandmother. You're probably getting punked by your grandma. I don't care how big of a gangster you think you are. You're getting punked by your grandma. Don't tell me no. And you're thinking about how to put food on the table and how to make money, right? And that's what brings us. That's what brings us all collectively together. Is, regardless of where you are, how you grew up, what things you have going on in life. Trust me, even rich people have problems, right? And I know billionaires, and they have problems. So don't think everything's just lollipops and candy canes out there. But
yeah, I want to put special symbols in my kid's name, dude. That's a big problem.
Hey, Elon Musk, bro.
What symbols would you use, Mike?
An A and an E combined together, man. Maybe a little like smiley face or something. An emoji. Why can't I throw an emoji in my kid's name, dude? I don't know why.
It's definitely coming. He started a trend.
He did. He did.
Yeah, definitely. Papa Musk.
And by the way, because I'm a world traveler as well, so I have LA on the plan once everything opens up. So maybe we could actually do this in person because we got all the gear, we got all the cameras.
Got a big studio.
Check out the studio, absolutely.
I'm down to Hollywood. We'll be happy to have you. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us, and have an amazing weekend and stay safe.
Thank you, everybody out there.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Thank you.